Hey, what's up, Peter? Welcome to my home. Welcome.
Welcome.
This is my place, my home, my sanctuary. We call it our refuge. So glad to have you here. So come on in. I mean, most of you guys who are watching probably been here already, so nothing surprising. But yeah, this is our place.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you ready? Excited? 60 questions for Tony?
60 questions. Dude, that's insane, but I will do my best. So hit it up. Tell me
Let's get started. What's the first thing you thought of this morning? The first thing that came to mind?
I gotta wake up and pray. The boys are waiting for me. The boys being Paul Cho and Kevin Jung.
Oh man.
The moment I woke up, or I got a text, he said, "Hey, you're coming on." So I got up and went out to we did a Zoom prayer for our pastors every Monday.
That's even before to your kids as well. Like before.
Yeah.
So of all the things that you have to do, what's the fourth thing?
The fourth thing?
Woke up, yeah.
After I wake up, the fourth thing, brush my teeth, shower.
Routine kind of guy, or just kind of on the fly, whatever needs?
It really depends on the day, and depends on the situation and how late I'm running. But usually the fourth thing I'm doing is I should be out of the house by the fourth thing I'm doing. And whatever it is that I'm doing, by the fourth wave of stuff, I'm already out of the house. Most likely going to a meeting somewhere.
That's good, because that's actually the next thing I was about to ask.
Okay.
What do you think you should do on your to-do list? Apparently it's to get out of the house and make sure you're getting going.
Yes, it is to make sure I get out of the house and make to my engagement on time. I'm notoriously always within 5 minutes late, so I've been trying to work on that, but
busy man.
Always notoriously late for that.
So since you're so busy in the morning, how do you get fuel into your body? What's your go-to breakfast in the morning?
You know, here's the dirty secret. I don't eat breakfast. I rarely eat lunch unless it's a lunch meeting, but my main meal is usually at dinner time. I've been told I need to spread out my meals more often, but I just don't have an appetite in the morning.
I don't know what you're doing, but you know, you're gymming, working.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Kind of going off topic, what's your favorite scent?
My favorite scent? Oh, my favorite scent, Chanel No. 5. My mom has bought me one bottle every year for Christmas. So that's the one I have for the past 10 years of my life. Yeah. Fast
forwarding to today, up until now, what's the best thing that's happened to you so far?
The best thing that's ever happened to me in my life?
Today.
Specifically today. Oh, okay. Wow.
Kind of like, you know.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I'll do. Oh, yeah. So this morning I had a prayer. After I had the prayer meeting with Paul and KJ, I went to meet up with Pastor Bumble from RP and Pastor Bang from Orange, and we were setting up a booth for a Thud Festival in the next few weeks that TLC is gonna kind of work on kind of hosting it to be an evangelistic booth, but also an outreach booth. So I'm really excited about that. I mean, I know it's kind of last minute, but it's usually one of those last things that's really great. And I'm excited that RP's they initiated it, and I'm just so glad to come alongside of it. So I'm really excited about that. I've been texting the teams this whole morning about getting that set up and everything. So yeah.
Awesome. So around your house, living room, right? Do you have any object of significance? Usually your kids could be here, but I think they're at school.
Yes. My object of significance. What is my object? You know, we don't really value a lot of physical objects in our house. You know, things come and go. But if I had to look, what is significant? You know, like I sounds funny, but there is a karaoke machine over there, and I would say it's significant because it has been a great space created to bring people together on this couch. So there's been a lot of love in this very room, with people just singing out songs, belching out ballads, and just loving on the community during this place. So that's I think we love that machine. People have been borrowing it. It's one of our one of those items that we specifically have. Actually, it's not even mine. It's my mom. She just left it here, and we've been using it ever since. But so it is a blessing to have. Yeah.
That's good, because it segues into the next thing, which is that PT I feel like everyone is with me when we say that you've been a blessing to us all this past almost 10 years.
10 years.
Did you have any idea when it started that you'd be here going on your 10th year pastoring and nurturing an ever-growing multitude of ministry and church family, next to the legs of the giants that led before you?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, like, not gonna lie, when I first came, I thought I would be done within a year and a half. I thought I was gonna just crash and burn. They're gonna figure out that I'm a huge fraud, no idea what I'm doing, and it'll be over. But somehow, by the grace of God and just good people and good mentors, we've been here 10 years, and hopefully we'll be able to stake our roots and be here for the long run, for the long haul.
I mean, it sounds like being a pastor is a very tough job, right?
Yeah.
From leading worship at some point, preaching every week, running small groups throughout the week, planning retreats. We all know you don't like this. And then on top of it, you have a family to juggle as well, right? How do you manage to stay on top of all of it?
I think, the hard part was always in the front end of it. It was just trying to put all those things together and creating a system where we can actually do that faithfully, and also having a loving and loving wife who's just so endearing and helping made the process so much easier. The journey of where it is now, we just thank God that God's just brought us great people, great leaders to help initiate, lead, guide, and watch our team faithfully here. So those things have gotten a lot easier, but the front end was really all the heavy lifting. And so I thank God that He gave us the tenacity and the grit to get through that season. That was a hard season.
And I'm sure that through all this time, whatever obstacles it is that God has brought up to you, of course, some were very difficult, challenging to get through, but out of all the roles that you stepped into, which one would you say that you relish the most?
Relish, that I love the most?
You enjoy the most?
I love being with the people, right? I think walking with brothers and sisters, doing salt with my boys, my brothers, especially preaching the Word of God. It is I feel like it's something that God's just given me to do, and just the passion, the hunger in my heart to be able to magnify Christ, so that way the world would know Him. So it's preaching Jesus is a joy, and I love it.
That's good. That's good to hear. Now, when you're on stage, right, you're someone who's never not well dressed, right? What style advice can you give to the audience?
Did you say I'm never not well dressed? I think a lot of people will beg to differ that one. What style of dress?
Maybe because you wear so confidently. Right?
I want you guys to know, in this house, we shop at all the high-end places. We got the Goodwill going. We got the Salvation Army. We are just loading it up. My drip is that right? I think it's a drip. My drip is legit. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, my go-to outfit, my plan lately has always been, I'm gonna wear the same outfit for the series that I'm about to preach in. So if you haven't really noticed, I pretty much wear the exact same thing from each series. I'll change the outfit in the next series, but it's usually one series, just because I just hate thinking about what to wear. I'd rather have it just one time and then do that for the rest of the time. So yeah, just wear it proudly, So hey, I'm gonna just kind of invite you just into my office, like, again,
where all the magic happens.
It's where all the magic happens. I'll tell you the truth, I'm really blessed with this office. When we're living in our Stanton place, my office was actually in the garage in this little corner, and being able to be blessed by Elder Wang and Jitu, we were able to rent out this place from them. And my wife, being loving as she is, her gift to me was this table to have the full office to myself. So it's kind of messy, I'm sorry. This is how madness works, I guess, right? So this is my office, and this is where the magic happens. All the stuff that happens or does not happen at TLC, it goes on here, right, in this place. This is where we figure out, these are where the dream is done. This is where the planning happens, and this is where all the work of studying and putting things together goes down here in this place.
I mean, it sounds like it's a lot to do, right? There's things all over the place.
Yeah.
Right? To some, it could be a pet peeve. So, speaking of pet peeves, what are your top 3 pet peeves?
Whew, my top 3 pet peeves. Okay, my top 3 pet peeves. Okay, I'll give you a mental one, and I'll give you a physical one, right? And maybe a spiritual one, right?
All right.
A spiritual pet peeve I have is just seeing a son and daughter of God living selfishly. I think that's such a counterintuitive to the gospel. And the gospel tells us that Jesus Christ, he who was equal to God, was willing to lay down his rights for the sake of the people and become obedient to death. I think it's very contrary when God's people live selfishly. So that's one of my pet peeves. A more of a relational pet peeve is when someone says they're going to do something, they don't do it. I think that's a big problem for me, where and that's kind of weird, because all these pet peeves originate really from my heart, because these are big issues that I've had in my life, and so I think they're just something that I've wrestled with and I kind of see now. But people who say they're going to do something and kind of not do it, I really can't resonate very well with that. But my other type of pet peeve, let's see, in the home, is I have an issue with, it sounds silly, but when the kitchen is not clean, right? Every room in this house can be dirty, but for some reason the kitchen has to be clean. Like it's just that has to be it, you know. So I can deal with the mess in the living room, I can deal with the mess in the family room.
Why is that the case? What sets the kitchen apart from any other room?
I just feel like the kitchen is the central hub, you know, where we dine, we eat in that kitchen, and that's the place where fellowship and magic happens, and that's when we, let me tell you guys, of all the things that we're going to be doing with Jesus up in heaven, right? The one thing that we're doing now to prepare for that, the same thing that we're going to be doing in heaven, is eating, right? And something about eating is, it's just universal across. So I love it when the kitchen is clean, well put together, and when it's not, I get a little bit of ugh in my head, yeah.
Well, you're kind of moving ahead of yourself, because I wasn't there yet.
Yeah, I know, right? No, I gotta show you. I was, in my kitchen.
Well, before we get there, we're taking a look around the room. There's a lot of important things, right? A lot of artifacts, right? There's like pictures of loved ones, right?
Yes.
Tell us a bit about what's special for you. What you have on these walls?
Well, they're mostly pictures of my children. You know, like I guess they're kind of special. I mean, I didn't really put those here, but you know, this is my youngest. I think my wife put that one up here. But I love this one. This was a really cute one. This is the Father's Day. It's just put together. Yeah, Daddy Seth. He was really cute when he was being that, and Enoch doesn't get a lot of love. So let me see a picture of him. Wait, hold on. Where's
get a lot of love.
I'm pretty sure there's another. Oh, there it is. No, there's one of it. I was like, yeah, you know, he once asked me, he said, Daddy, where's my pictures? I was like, oh yeah, let me find some pictures for you. So that's Dad.
What was he doing in that picture?
I think it was Grandma's birthday, and then he was just sitting there, blowing out the candles for Grandma.
So it wasn't about you, it was about Grandma.
It was about Grandma for sure. Yeah, it was about Grandma for sure. But let me share with you guys a few of my favorite things here. You know, this is more my pagan books, books where I used to read as a kid that I used to love, and I had a lot more, but I only kept the ones I really loved. But this series right here is my favorite series, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe from C.S. Lewis. Right? C.S. Lewis. It is my first introduction, even not knowing it, into the Christian realm, and so I've loved this series my whole life. It is near and dear to my heart.
Say, for example, if you were at a table with C.S. Lewis right now, right? What would you say as a conversation starter to kick things off?
There would be so many questions I would ask him. I would be asking him like, hey, Mr. Lewis, why was it that every time the kids, they saw Aslan, he got bigger, right? Like it didn't make sense to me. And you know, like what were the names of Aslan said I had many names in many nations. So what were his other names, especially after when the Voyage of the Dawn Trader, when when Susan wasn't allowed to come back anymore. And what was the names that he was telling them? Hey, you gotta know me in these other lands with my other names. I would love to. I mean, I know it's Jesus for sure, but I want to know. I know. I'm just throwing that out there. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, stuff like that. And a lot of these things down here is my biological science degrees days. Yes, I didn't want to get rid of them. It's just a reminder for me that God has called me out of my calling of pre-med, which was to.
I mean, it's still there.
Yeah,
right?
It's calling me out of that to go into a place where maybe I'm not healing them physically, but I'm taking part of healing their spiritual life. So praise the Lord for that.
Good stuff.
Yeah, but yes, that's a big part of this table. Let's see what other artifacts I like to.
Let's talk about your creative process. What makes Pastor Tony's sermon Pastor Tony's, right? What kickstarts the creative process? Right?
What kickstarts it?
I know a tidbit. I know it starts usually around 2 a.m.
Yes.
On a Saturday of some sort. Right?
Well, it's called fear. I need to write something. I need to write something, or else I'm screwed on something. No. You know what really creates the fire when you're preaching, and most people don't know, right? And when you're dissecting the passage and you begin to answer the questions that the passage is giving to you that you can't find, and you go out, you look at your commentaries, and you see it, and all of a sudden this little passage that you're kind of preaching out of comes from this humongous context, and it just begins to fit together like this puzzle. And the more you look, the more you see, and the more you see, the more you get like just excited about it, because you just want to share about all of it. And the hard part about preaching actually is figuring out how much of it to share, right? Because there's so much within the passage. One person can preach 5 different aspects of that passage that can come out from that passage, but sometimes just digging in and seeing where the Lord has put it on your heart and being able to do that. So that's my thing. And my inspiration usually, weird as it is, kicks in around 1 to 2 a.m. in the morning, right? When I'm just sitting here, I'm praying, all my duties are done, and I probably just got out of the shower. I was thinking about something, and something kind of triggers my mind, and I started the creative process of writing the message. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Going on the path of being a pastor, it's a completely different change of a career path for you. Mm-hmm. And so, what was it? How did it got started? Where did it originate from? Originally, you mentioned you were, bio major, medical student, perhaps. Yeah. What led you to where you are today?
I think when you begin to earnestly seek the Lord and earnestly have a relationship with Him, when it comes to the place where your heart is saying things like, "I just want you and nothing else," but honestly, the Lord begins to kind of put His desires into your heart, right? And He begins to challenge your own personal desires. And I think my personal desire back then was to go into med school. Typical Asian parents want you to go to med school, and I prepared for it, did my stuff. But I think the Lord had bigger plans and better plans, and not necessarily easier plans, but they are His plans, and they're the safest place to be, And so He placed it in my heart that med school wasn't it. He said, you gotta cut that out. And I was kind of nervous because it was my 4th year already. I mean, everything was set. What am I gonna do? And that initial seed that He placed in my heart grew into this call that He gave to me to go into seminary and go into ministry for the rest of my life. And so I thank Him for it. It's not an easy path, and I don't recommend it for anybody unless they really felt the Lord's calling for them in that area. Otherwise, it's you do more harm than good in the long run, I believe. But yeah, it starts with the Lord and it ends with the Lord. Only the Lord can call you, and only the Lord can sustain you. So that's really where it is. Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, if Tony can do it, and for him, it's like going into unknown, right? It's probably the most difficult thing for him, right? Yeah. Then that should be an encouragement for all of us to take that leap of faith.
Yeah. The safest place to be is in the plans of the Lord. The most unsafe place to be is in your own plans, because you have no idea what's going to happen. But if you're walking in God's plan, then even if it looks like the world is falling apart on you, you can stand with security because, hey, I didn't put myself here. You put me here, Lord. So if this is where I need to be, then that's exactly where I believe I need to be. So I'm not going to be afraid. Right?
Awesome.
That's what sustains us.
That's what sustains us.
Yes.
Hey Tony, I noticed you have a guitar here. Do you
Yes.
songs?
I dabble a little. I dabble a little.
Man of many hats?
Yeah, dabble a little. You know,
Jack of all trades?
I tell you a funny story about this is when I was in the Korean church, and we were. I was a young Christian at the time, and I was really intrigued by I love singing, but I was really intrigued by the idea that Christians sang, right? I mean, they sang over and over, and I love the praise time. And there was a season in our Korean church where a lot of the praise leaders, they left. You know, they've been there for a long time. They did their battles, and the Lord just kind of called them out, and nobody was leading praise. And so I got it in my heart. I didn't know. I thought maybe I was just being awesome or actually foolish, but God's placed in my heart just do something, and I said okay. So I just picked up a guitar and learned 3 chords: G, C, and D, and that was it. And so I was learning how to sing and lead praise. Not gonna lie to you, God give us gifts for a reason. Sometimes, you know, you may think you have it, but you don't, right? Like I soon discovered that very well when it came to praise leading. I did not have that gift. I've gotten better at it, but I definitely did not have that gift. But my first song was "Lord, I Lift Your Name on High." I went like, "Lord, I lift Your name on high." That's it, GCD, right? So, right, GCD, and I remember I led for about a year. I couldn't sing very well in key, and my beats and my rhythms were horrible. But I remember those are actually good training years, because what I learned was, if you really want to discover what your spiritual gifts are, you should just put yourself in a position of service, and then you'll discover real soon whether you have it, whether you don't,
But you gotta try.
Yeah, or God's gonna kind of even give it to you on the spot, but you gotta try. You can't just sit there and kind of like, oh yeah, I'll just, magically appears. You just gotta put yourself in.
Action part.
Yeah, exactly. You don't even know. You don't even know what you're able to do until you put yourself. Until you put yourself there. Yep. All right. Hey, thank you for visiting my office. Again, where the magic happens. Thank you so much. I mean, let me show you too my favorite place in the house. All right. It's the kitchen.
Here it is.
Yes. So this is where cleaner kitchen. But this is really, I love this kitchen because of this island right here. Is where all of the people, when they gather, we just sit around this island, we laugh, we break bread, we share our stories, and we share what God's doing. And it's a lot of great prayers and things have happened on this island. So we have been we just love this place, and this is we use it as a way of blessing people, blessing our community, and doing fellowship and hospitality to those around us. So this is I love this place. So I've learned to cook better in this kitchen. I did my best, but it's provided, and so we were just trying to be good stewards of it.
Tony, you have to know.
Yes.
For someone who cooks such delicious food.
Oh, thank you.
Right.
Yes.
For all these celebrations.
Yes.
Right. Literally Michelin star.
Okay.
Grade food.
Let's not go that far. But yes, they're edible for sure.
What is? Yeah. Right. Since you love us, what is the secret sauce to maintaining such a fit physique, right? In order, to honor the Lord and keeping your bodies, in good health, right? To be able to enjoy fellowship, right, with others, right? Enjoy your food.
Yeah.
So, what is it about what you've been doing so far?
Yeah.
Right? Give us, 3 tips.
Okay.
Right. That you personally abide by, right? That got you this far.
Okay.
On that journey.
Peter, I think something's really wrong with your eyes. You keep saying I'm fit, but I'll take it with clear affirmation. But what has been, there are seasons where we were very unfit, and I'm not even fit at all, honestly. But we've been making sure we just balance our what we intake, and. I'm gonna tell you 3 things that were told to me. Okay, not that I actually do these 3 things, but more veggies, right? Shout out to Elon and to Home for just saying, you know, you just more veggies. The key is, you know, calorie deficit. I was told again, you know, I'm trying that again. We tried the keto. I mean, it's really hard. You gotta keep your lifestyle that way, and it's just hard to keep that lifestyle. But just calorie deficit, watching what you eat, and making sure what you eat and what you burn is just math. Making sure that it doesn't, just don't do that, and then going out and getting some exercise in. But yeah, other than that, man, there's probably a lot more better and well-equipped people to answer that question than your pastor, right? Because your pastor loves to eat, and that is yes.
So for someone who loves to eat, right?
Yes.
Most controversial questions, right?
Yes.
Pineapple pizza, yay or nay?
Oh man, I will say it's a hard no for me.
What?
It's a hard no.
What do you mean no? Right? It's heavy. You need something citrusy to cut right through it.
Yeah.
I thought this was an open door policy. It
is open door. I'm just saying, you know, like. It's just, there's just some things you don't do.
Fundamentally.
You know, it's just something you just don't do. You know, like it's a pizza, you know, like I get people, I get it. I get the idea of retransforming, reimagining, deconstructing and reconstructing exploring new frontiers and enjoying that stuff. But I just don't like pineapples, guys. I just don't like it. I don't like it in general, and then putting it on a pizza is just
ruins it.
It just is sacrilege. I think.
Oh my goodness!
Almost blasphemous. Almost blasphemous. Yeah.
Well, hey, if it's not pineapple pizza, right? Say for example you're stuck on an island and you had to eat one particular dish for the rest of your life, right? What would it be for Pastor Tony?
Oh man. Dude, just one dish?
Because pineapples are plentiful there, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I don't know about
depending on the island.
whatever else you got there.
Well, that's a hard scenario to put me in. But if this dish magically appears every single day in front of me, I can eat it for the rest of my life. I love steak, guys.
Steak.
I know you can't probably find cows on an island very often, and if they do, they're probably dying.
They'll leave meat or some sort.
But I love myself a steak, and I could die with a steak in my mouth, and I would be probably pretty happy. I would probably die pretty happy. Let that be known. On my deathbed, someone just give me a steak, and that would be your way of saying I love you, PT.
There's some way, right, to rejuvenate PT. It's not herbs, right? It's not Western medicine. It's just pure Kobe beef Wagyu A5 steak. Give it to him.
Yes. A nice, well-prepared steak it's the best thing on this side of heaven besides Jesus. Yes. All right. Hey, love that. I mean, why don't you come over? This is our dining table. We use it mostly for the kids, honestly. It's not even, actually, we don't even barely eat off of this table. But it's just a spot where when the kids come, they have a place to sit, because mostly the adults sit in the kitchen island over there. Yeah.
So this is where the kids all stay and eat, right? There's a small table over there for Craft's Kitchen.
Craft's Kitchen, the table here. Kids are playing on this table. A lot of stuff happens here.
So we all know that Enoch is potentially the most cutest thing in our community.
He's alright.
Is he?
He's alright.
Just alright?
He's alright. He's well played though. He's pretty good. He's pretty good.
Boots eyes.
He's pretty good. Not gonna lie. Yeah.
Hey, what's something you learned recently that absolutely blew your mind, right? For a pastor, well, you know, you sound like someone who's been through a lot, right? Experienced a lot, but you know, even up until now, what are some things that, you know, something that kind of surprises you?
You know, I think the thing that kind of just keeps blowing my mind, right, as I dive deeper and deeper. I know it's gonna sound kind of just maybe a little churchy, but reality is, you know, when I begin to dive into a certain truth about God, and you know, we know it, and then when we really know it, it's a whole different aspect. It's like you know it in your head, but then it becomes like the coin falls, everything fits together, and it hits your heart, and it literally just it knocks you out of your feet, and it blows you away. Just the reality, like even just remembering this past week, that everything we do, the question that we should ask is that does it make us love Jesus more, right? And I was just so enthralled by that, because that let me down thinking like, hey, do I want Jesus more than anything else? Like, is Jesus that good? And then I started thinking about who he is, started thinking about the times he met with me so personally, and it's just, again, all those things begin to culminate, and in my meditation, as I just kind of think through that, I was just, again, blown away by the reality and the presence of God in my heart at that time. Yeah.
To get to where you're currently at, right? Surely you've had brothers and sisters kind of, guiding you along the path, right? So, if you came down to it, what would you say off the top of your head? It's like, your spiritual hero.
My spiritual heroes, man, I have so many. But people who just really influenced me a lot, I would have to say, has been my youth pastor. I call him spiritual father. I've been trying to get him to meet with me lately. He's been avoiding me for some reason. He's being a little brat. Steve Oak, that's my spiritual leader, my youth pastor. I would definitely say Pastor Lin would fall in that area. It's so funny because me and Pastor Lin, our temperaments are so opposite of each other, and yet somehow, when you look at Pastor Lin in the long end and you begin to talk to him, you realize there's something about him that you can learn so much, and there's so much depth to the way he thinks about God and the way he senses about God, right? And I would say another great mentor would be our Elder Wang. He's been a great blessing to our family, really helping us to dissect to navigate what it looks like to be practically living in this world, but honoring our God in the midst of all of that. So really blessed for those 10 years of being here at TLC, having those people in my life. So yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, and there's many more. I wish if I could list them all out, I probably would. Yeah. But those are the top of my head.
For sure. They say if you move a lot, everyone has a heart home. So for you, what do you think that place is?
My heart home is where my church is. That's it. Where the body of Christ is gathered, that is where my heart is at as well. That's where I know I will have brothers and sisters in Christ. I know that I will have accountability, love. I know that Christ will be the center. I mean, it's where the church is, that's where my heart is.
Wow, that's very noble of you, Tony.
Noble? Oh. I hope so, man.
Yeah. We know you care about us. We love you too.
Yeah.
Since you've been praising so many other peeps so far, right? Right now is the time where it's, one question, right? To yourself, permission to brag. What is one accomplishment that you feel people might not know about that makes you proud?
Makes me proud, man.
In a good way. Something that you've endured and you worked hard towards. And maybe Tony just needs a little loving.
Loving. What am I most proud of? Man, that's a hard. I'm a big critique of myself, so it's hard to pinpoint an area, because I would always say that every area needs more improvement. I think all my salt guys, they hate me for that because it's never good enough. They think I just only say it to them, but I preach it to myself more often than they know. What is an area that I'm proud of? One area that I am proud of is helping to lay down a culture where we believe in the depths of our heart as a church that there are no such thing as a lost cause. I think that's something that we fully believe in, and I think that our leaders and our people fully embrace. And the reason why I'm so proud of that is because it helps you to see people in a different light. And I think either you can be too critical of people sometimes, or you can be too lax on people sometimes. You're too critical because you think you're too good for them, right? And you're too lax because you're thinking like they'll never change anyway, so who cares? But when you have a mentality where there's no such thing as a lost cause, you're not critical because you know you're just in the same place they were at or they are at. You know, you're a sinner saved by grace, and you're not too lax either because you know that God wants them and He's not going to leave them where they're at. He's going to take them somewhere more. So I'm really proud of that we have developed that heart culture here at TLC.
Well, I was about to ask if there's anything that you regret the most, but it seems like you kind of let off on a good note to end things off.
Many things I regret, guys. So many things. But that's what is beautiful, because I think God works through foolish people, of which I am, I think, the greatest of all. Sometimes I look back and I just think like, how did we even survive this long as a church? And if not by the grace of God, it's definitely by the grace of God, in spite of us.
No, that's great. Kind of taking things off on a tangent.
Sure.
I know I kind of missed it when you got your wedding to Trisha, but you could share one thing about that relationship. What was it about? Since you guys are such a strong couple, you rely, you're like a +1, helping each other through all the rough times.
Yeah.
What was it about Trisha that? How did you know that Trisha was the love of your life?
It's good. I always say I have 2 miracles in my life, right? The first miracle was that Jesus Christ would save a sinner like me, but the second miracle is that my wife would marry a fool like me. I mean, I'm pretty sure she had better choices out there, and she chose to marry the pastor. So I think part of it is just the journey, and just knowing that Trisha, like all marriages, it's difficult, and we have hiccups and we have our roadblocks of growth. But one of the beautiful things that I've always seen about Trisha in the long run has that she's always grown. There's never a place where she's stuck. The girl that she was today is a whole different girl than she was 10 years ago, and every year she grows a little deeper and a little wiser in her love for Jesus Christ. And so I think that's when I realized that that's her trajectory. That's just where she was at. I knew that God was in her heart, and so that's what made her beautiful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And with that, I think we've reached the end of our questionnaire, Blitzkrieg.
Sweet. Oh man, that was intense, guys. Not gonna lie, but love you. I hope that was insightful or not for you guys. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tony, for just opening up your house for a small group, for opening up your heart for the community, and just giving us this time to know what you're like.
Yes.
Behind the curtains.
Appreciate it. Very appreciate you guys. Appreciate video and digital team for even putting this together. Like, who would care so much about the life of their pastor? So only a team that would even imagine stuff like this can create something so great. So thank you guys so much for your service and your attention to these stories that should be told.
We love you, PT.
Love you guys.